Hey everybody, welcome back to Clappin Bombs. I'm AWOL, joined with Eric and Robbie. Been a little bit on a hiatus, but we're back for the midseason review. I think the Capitals have played the most games in the league, and they're playing Game 42 tonight, Friday, January 6th already? Holy shit. So yeah, we're just gonna get into some things, talk about what we've seen, look at the standings, some stats, and kind of go from there. World Juniors just wrapped up yesterday as well, so lots to talk about. We'll probably get things kicked off with the NHL standings though. So Eric, why don't you lead us off there?
Yeah, not much has really changed since our last video. We did talk about how a lot of the teams are doing as we expected and a lot aren't. Boston is still in first place, leading the entire league. We had them out of the playoffs, so we were horrendously wrong.
Nah, they're still ass.
I mean, so here's the thing: like they were good last season, and they didn't really lose anything. They kind of just
They
came
did
back.
add David Krejci.
They're ass.
Okay, so to be fair, David Krejci's been
They
huge
did
on
lose
that second
Tuukka.
line because
That's
like
pretty big.
Pasta loves playing with Krejci. Big news yesterday though: DeBrusque is on IR for at least 4 weeks. He's been a pretty productive player on their team this year. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference, but I don't think that. I mean, they might lose a few more games than they have been.
I mean, they've only lost 8 games total, which is kind of insane.
I mean, it's all. I mean, Olmark's the one that's been playing well, right?
Yeah, he has like 22 of their 30 wins.
Yeah, and Swayman is dog shit this year, but that's besides the point. Olmark's been playing out of his mind.
I'm just not scared of Olmark. Like, he's gonna get picked apart come like playoffs or something. Like, whatever. You've seen this before. Goalies that aren't good have good numbers in the regular season, and then the second someone focuses on them, they're done. And Boston isn't going anywhere.
I mean, I think that Boston's solid, but I don't think that they have what it takes to go the whole way. And also, like, the President's Trophy doesn't mean anything. It never has.
No.
I think the Hawks were the last team to actually win the cup after winning the trophy. I mean, the Panthers won it last year. They're not even in a playoff spot. The Caps have won it 3 times in the last 10 years. They won once. So it's not a big deal.
That was the year they didn't get the trophy.
Yeah. So I think the East is shaping up pretty much as we expected, with the exception of Boston. Florida's out, which is
I mean, I wouldn't say that
surprising.
necessarily because I don't think any of us had New Jersey in second right now.
No, but we didn't count New Jersey out though.
Not like we did Boston. But I'm not. I thought New Jersey was gonna be like a fringe wild card team. Which this season's still early. I mean, we're halfway through, but like there's a lot that can happen in the next 41 games. So I'm not saying that they're going to finish second, but they're kind of a surprise to me. They've been doing really well. A lot of their young players are stepping up. Jack Hughes especially. I mean, the Atlantic's pretty much the same as always. It's going to be Atlanta, Toronto, Tampa, pretty much intermixing themselves between, until like the final, couple weeks. Going into the wild card though, it's kind of as we expected. Kind of like we said. Caps are first in the wild card right now with the Islanders right behind them, and Pens in third. On the topic of the Penguins,
They suck, huh?
yeah, it's really bad right now. Not really sure why. Robbie, if you have any insight on that one, I know you watch games a lot more than I do. But it's kind of confusing, right?
It's just the same thing I've been complaining about all year. It's special teams. They don't score on the penalty. On the power play, and they get scored on the penalty kill.
Here's the craziest thing though, like from December 1st until like the game before the Christmas break, they were like 39% on the power play, and then that night they went 0 for 8 against the Carolina Hurricanes. Like, what the hell happened? Like, nothing changed. Like
they went 0 for 9 in one game on the power play.
Yeah,
That's impressively bad.
yeah, it doesn't even make sense. I mean,
you expect to score 2 goals on those. So
at least.
yeah.
even one. Jesus Christ! I
0
mean,
for 9 is incredibly bad.
So the Pens started off 0-6-2, or they had a streak of 0-6-2, and then they went 18-2-3, and now they're on a 3-game losing streak. And I think one of the losses was even in overtime, so it's not even going to count that in the losing streak.
Well, I mean, like, I watched the game last night against the Golden Knights, and like they just did not come out to play. And I bet you Sullivan reamed their ass in intermission. And like in the second period, it was completely different. I don't think Vegas touched the puck once in the whole second period, except at the very end where then they got scored on.
Mm.
But like they probably had 19 minutes and 30 seconds of possession. So like they probably got reamed there because they just don't want to play. That's what it came down to. They just looked like they didn't give a shit.
But they let in 3 goals at that point, so like,
Yeah,
that's
but it
not-
was
you
too
can't
late.
you can't dig yourself out of that.
Yeah.
But the rest, like they tied. It was 2-2. Like the second and third, if you just look at it that way. But like they just didn't come out to play, and that's what they've been doing that for like what is it, 6 games now?
Yeah, it's super frustrating because they have the team to do it. You know, there's really the only person that's out right now is Letang, and he's on
Petrie too, but
well, Petrie's been out for a month or two now. But I mean, like POJ's been playing really well. Pedersen's kind of stepped up his game. I mean, I'm tired of. It's hard to make excuses at this point. But I mean,
Smith scored a goal last night. His like first goal with the Penguins, but he also made like 2 or 3 just like awful turnovers.
Ty
So,
Smith.
like, yeah.
Well, he's been in the
Yeah.
AHL the majority of the season. I
Like,
think
he
he's
did
still
like drop passes to nobody or something, or like, and then like he just it was not.
Yeah, I didn't
He
catch
had an
the game.
alright
It was
game.
late. I went to bed when the
I
game
was about to
started.
tear him apart, but then he did score a goal, so it's like okay, well,
I
sort of
don't-
makes up for it.
I obviously don't watch the Penguins, so but on paper, the 2 things that I see that are absolutely killing the Penguins is the fact that they don't score on their special teams, and they have no offense from their defensemen. None.
No, it's
Jeff Petrie is leading the team with 12 points on the back end.
and he hasn't played in how many weeks? I mean, we were hoping and thinking Letang was gonna come out and have a banging season after his performance last year. I mean, granted he's been injured, and he had a stroke and whatever the case may be. Before that, he still was not producing. I don't know. The defense is, they're not even playing good defense right now because they're letting DeSmith and Jari get peppered. I mean, there's really no excuse.
Dumoulin and Pedersen both have no goals.
Dumoulin is I don't understand why Dumoulin's still on this team. Pedersen, while he has not been offensively producing, he has been outstanding on defense. He's turned his game around. I was ready to put him to the curb last year, and he's surprised me this year.
But I just don't think that you can win in this league in today's game without getting significant offensive contributions from your defensemen. And the fact that their leading defenseman in points has 3 goals and 9 assists, and he hasn't played in however long, that's not good.
No.
You need your puck moving defensemen to get you points. They need to contribute to the offense.
Yep.
And when I see the Penguins scores, it does strike out to me that they're really not scoring that much.
No, the offense is basically dried up. I mean, a lot of guys that we kind of relied on for goal scoring are just not putting it up this year. Rust has like nothing. Rust has been complete trash this year. Zucker's been probably one of the better wingers, and that's not saying much.
I think the Penguins have 4 guys with more than 10 goals, which like isn't bad, but
It's
at
like,
the same
but it's
time,
like Crosby and Malkin are a point per game, so like it's they're close to it. Yeah, they're both point per game, so like
yeah, and
what do you
Gensel too. But then it
so
falls
that
off
should be
hard.
that should be enough. That's the thing.
Like Rust is not. Rust has
is a minus 13.
Well, he has
Yeah.
he has a decent amount of points, but he doesn't even have 10 goals, which is the issue because he's been in a goal scorer the last couple of years.
Yeah,
and that's why the power play is not working, is because he's kind of supposed to be the shooter there.
Yeah, the minus 13 really sticks out, huh? That's
Yeah,
by
he's been
far the worst on the team.
he's
Wow.
been really bad this year.
I mean, Josh Archibald's a +8. What's Russ doing?
I don't think Archibald. Yeah, we are down a few of those fourth line guys, but that shouldn't really be an excuse.
Yeah, I mean, like Brock McGinn has more goals than Rust. That's a problem. Like,
I'm not worried. The dude scored
You mean Brock
lots
McGinn,
of
the
goals.
shorthand specialist?
what's he got? 2?
I don't know. He just has more shorthand goals than his regular goals, I think.
No, he's got 10. He has 10 goals.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know he had 10 goals.
He's
everyone wants to.
fourth on the team in
it's
goals.
just because Jeff Carter was feeding him for like a solid month. It's
Yeah.
people are gonna say he played
You
bad.
need
Like, he's been
more
playing
from
bad,
your
but
top 6 guys.
I mean, look, I'm interested to see how things play out.
You need more from Kapanen.
Kapanen, I mean,
1 goal in the Winter Classic after a hat trick like a month and a half ago is not good enough.
I mean, if you look at that, he's only scored in 4 games.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean,
And what? They were all losses except for the hat trick game. Like,
We might have lost that one too.
yeah, Pens are a bit of a sore spot right now. We'll see if they can turn it around. Unfortunately, it's time is ticking away, so we will see.
I mean, I'm not worried about it. The Islanders are terrible. They're
yeah,
not.
I'd expect
They're not
them to
gonna.
hop the Islanders.
The only
They're not
reason-
gonna hold that
The only
spot.
reason I'm not afraid of Buffalo is because their goaltending is so fucking bad. If
Yeah.
they
Nah,
had-
dude. Ukko
Dude.
Pekka-Luukkonen's great. Also, his name's Ukko Pekka-Luukkonen.
If the Sabres had a better goalie situation, I feel like I would be afraid. But
How dare you disrespect Craig Anderson?
I did just vote
He's
for him to make the.
41.
I did just vote for him to make the All-Star game, but that's besides the point. Yeah, I mean the rest of the East is pretty not that great.
The East is basically set between the 9 teams that are fighting for 8
I mean,
spots because I don't think Buffalo's going to make it.
Nah, I mean the Pens are going to jump the Islanders. That's
I mean,
inevitable.
it's the Penguins are on a skid here, but they're not gonna lose every game for like the
No,
rest. They're not gonna
God,
go on like
no.
a 15-game losing streak. They're gonna get at least a few points here and there.
Yeah, and I mean they still they've only played 38 games. The Islanders have played 40, and they're only 1 win behind them. So I mean,
I mean,
I'm not worried.
just having Crosby and Malkin on your team is good enough to win you a few games here and there. So like,
for sure.
there's
And
gonna be games where Crosby just gets a hat trick or
Hopefully
something, and that's
Jari-
good
I mean,
enough.
Hopefully
it
Jari
is,
isn't out too
It
long
is
either.
true. The Penguins are out of the playoffs right now, but they're only 4 wins behind on the Hurricanes.
Yeah, I mean it's not the end of the
Also,
world.
we have like so many games. Well, not on the Hurricanes, but like the Capitals and Islanders have like 3 games ahead. Like if we just win out, we're
Tied with the
above
Caps.
them. Yeah.
If the Penguins win their next 3 games, they're literally identically tied
Yeah.
with the Capitals.
and that's
in
fine.
record.
I mean, then that's back where we need to be. I'm
That's
not saying it's-
actually advantage Penguins in a way.
Yeah, I mean, riding a hot streak. We just need to get things going. I was hoping last night them playing against Aiden Hill they would have that opportunity, but they didn't really produce offensively. Jack Eichel made his return last night. Had a goal and 2 assists, which is good for my fantasy team, but that's besides the point.
Oh yeah, we're going to college next. That's what it was. I remember.
Oh,
them saying
Arizona.
that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had to look it
Was
up.
it tomorrow or is that Sunday?
Sunday.
Why
I
the fuck is it on Sunday?
Yeah, first game in the college.
I love
Pens.
that Toronto can't escape their fate.
What do you mean?
Because they did really well last month, and
Marner did
and
really well.
They couldn't gain on Boston because Boston won't lose games for some reason. So Toronto looks set to face Tampa Bay again, and that's so funny. Like they just can't. They can't.
Yeah, that's
escape it.
locked. They're no one's.
This isn't moving. Boston,
Yeah.
Toronto, Tampa.
That's going to stay exactly the same. Tampa might.
Florida
pass
is
Boston.
so far
Yeah.
down. That's bad.
Yeah, Florida's kind of a surprise, I guess.
Every day there's a
It
Florida
kinda-
Panthers
yeah.
game. Paul Maurice is trending on Twitter. They hate Paul Maurice so much.
And
Florida
that
doesn't
takes a
even
lot
have
because there's only
fans.
5 fans
Yeah.
to get it trending.
And Paul Maurice is trending every day. There's a
I mean-
Panthers game.
But like as we were just saying that the Penguins 44 points in 38 games is bad, and the Florida has like 6 less points than them.
Yeah.
Like they're gotta be awful.
They are.
Yeah, I
Matt
mean,
Tkachuk is the only person that scores goals on that team, and that's it.
I've said it for years. I don't like Barkov. I don't think he's the guy.
How dare, dude?
And-
He came back and had a hat trick and 2 assists in his first
Sure,
game
so
back.
did Kapanen.
Well, I think Tkachuk's the guy, and Barkov is definitely a good too. The trade still.
But
is
I'm
a
sick. I'm
huge
sick of
W for
hearing that
Florida.
Barkov's the guy because I just don't believe he is. And when he does this kind of stuff, I just
I don't believe you.
I'm not
Tkachuk's the
seeing it.
guy, and it's. I still think that they won that trade because they got the guy, and we'll talk a little bit more about the other guy who is definitely not the guy when we get to Calgary and how bad they are.
Hmm?
So
Dude,
yeah,
Nazem.
no, Jonathan Huber.
They all
Before we
suck.
leave, there's still 2 more teams I want to talk about in the East. The first one was kind of like it's Detroit. You guys were real high on them in our
Yeah,
pre-release
I think we're-
preseason,
we were.
and I was like, I don't see it. I think they're terrible, and this does not surprise me. I think they're bad. They got a bunch of nobodies, and the nobodies have done nothing. David Perron is a no-show.
I think he's leading the team.
Andrew Kopp is a no-show.
Bertuzzi's done nothing.
Well, I th-
Raymond is dog shit this year.
yeah, they're.
Hey, it's okay.
I'm
Gotta give them time.
I'm disappointed in the guys you'd expect, Raymond and Larkin. Like, I want more from them, but
I think
also like,
Sider's not even doing anything
yeah,
this season.
those 3 have been pretty disappointing. But like, yeah, I'm not surprised that David Perron hasn't done shit.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
They're middle 6 guys. They just grabbed a bunch of them and
Yeah.
paid them for a year. Just
not a good strategy.
Well, I mean,
They would be
If
better off just losing.
for winning. Yeah, I agree. It's not a good strategy, but I think the kids could use guys
But,
like
Larkin's like not a
Voronkov
kid now. He's
well,
like,
Larkin's not,
Yeah.
but Raymond, Sider.
but like he should be better. Like this is not acceptable.
I'd say
really.
Vrana, but I don't know what's going
Like
on
it,
with
it
him.
like what
so.
like at some point, at one point, Dylan Larkin was considered like captain material. But like, you look at this, like, do you even want him on the team next year?
There's an argument for no.
Yeah.
That would be very unlike Detroit to trade a captain, though.
He's-
Yeah, I mean it's funny when you look at a team like Detroit and you look at their history and you see Steve Yzerman, Henrik Zetterberg, Nick Lidstrom, and Gordie Howe, and Dylan Larkin. Like he's just not nearly that caliber.
It's the fact that they had they had an all right team and they bolstered it with middle six guys, and the middle six guys are doing all the work, and they're not doing any work.
Yeah.
Like that's the issue, and it's just not a good spot for Detroit to be in. I'm not happy with where they're at, really. And the other team is Columbus.
They suck.
They're
Dog.
So bad.
I mean, I'm not gonna blame them too bad if you look at their injury list for who was out for the season. Good lord.
Laine's been like hurt and then hurt again and then COVID and then hurt again and then
Werenski's out for the season.
And then his dad died,
Jake
I think,
Bean's
or something.
out for the season.
Yeah. But like
Voracek's out for the season.
Yeah, but like Merzlikins has been terrible.
Oh yeah, he was real.
Yeah,
bad
Ellis has been
yesterday.
so bad. And
Gaudreau's been not that. I mean, Gaudreau has I think he's at a point per game, but still, I mean,
he doesn't have any help when Laine is out for
Laine
every other day.
Yeah. They played like 3 games together the whole year.
Wait till we have Laine, Voracek, and
Boone's out.
Yeah, Boone's been out.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard
a
to fault.
struggle.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Columbus is gonna be bad forever, but it's really bad right now.
Still, like, Gaudreau should be able to win more than, like, 10 games.
They won
Okay,
11.
but dude, look at
Yeah.
this. You know?
Who the hell is Bemstrom?
Emil Bemstrom, dude.
Who?
Yeah. Look at that second line. Rozovic, Laine, Nyquist. Because Rozovic, Laine, and Brian Little wasn't good enough. Let's just see if Nyquist is good. Let's see if that works.
Yeah, I mean, but I will say one thing about this is our bottom 3 we projected in the preseason is pretty much spot on. We said it's going to be Columbus, Montreal, and Philly, and here we are. So I mean,
we're really good at knowing who's going to be bad.
I mean, I'm excited to see what Columbus does when they're healthy because they do have a solid core of players. But like,
well, they're talking about trading Gavrikov, and the asking price on Gavrikov is insane. If somebody pays a first and a prospect for Vlad Gavrikov, I don't know what is Eric Carlson going to get?
I've
6
never even heard of
first-round
that
picks?
guy. I don't know who that is.
They're asking for a first and a prospect.
Yeah,
If Vladislav Gavrikov can get a first and a prospect, then San Jose is going to get the next 10 years of firsts from somebody for Eric Carlson.
Also,
Never even heard
we're
of this
just
guy, so.
looking at the roster here. Eric Branson is just total plug city.
Well, Eric Branson's bad, but who the hell is Tim Burney?
That's
someone underneath Branson.
yeah. I mean, again, it's really bad, but we'll see what happens next year. I mean,
Yeah, they're out. Like, there's no coming back.
try
from
again next year,
24
Columbus.
points.
So yeah, move on to the West
Yeah,
now.
let's go talk about how this is just completely backwards from what we thought.
But I don't want to spend too much time on the West because I really don't give a fuck about the West. But Dallas is leading the Central.
Jason Robertson's good at hockey.
Jamie Benn is as well. But Winnipeg's like literally right behind them, and they have 2 games in hand. So I think Winnipeg will finish first in the division. I don't think it's really a question.
I think we all called that. Nobody else did, but we were like, yeah, hey guys, Winnipeg has good players.
Not really sure how
And
Minnesota.
they're doing it without the good players too.
Well, Josh Morrissey decided to be
Josh
unreal.
Norris's now
Speaking
the good
of
players.
the Jets, tonight we have the return of
All of them.
Wheeler, Perfetti, Schmidt, and Ehlers. So I'm projecting a 10-0 win for the Jets tonight. Hellebuck with an 87 save shutout.
One of the fancy stats Twitter accounts tweeted like the Jets are getting the equivalent of one McDavid back.
Yeah, well,
That's a significant
Yeah.
one of because
Yeah.
McDavid is the best player in the league. Minnesota's in third. That's a little surprising, but then again, the Central is pretty bad. Unfortunately, Edmonton's not breaking it because
Hey, Colorado's out of a playoff spot. Remember when they were going to repeat? Remember?
That's
You
repeat
remember?
city.
That's brutal. They're below Calgary. That's
I'm surprised Calgary's in a playoff spot.
And so here's the deal with Colorado.
it's kind of sad
right?
that I don't think we're gonna get Battle of Alberta this year.
Colorado's been decimated by injuries, right? But they were all injuries that happened before the season even started. Nichushkin and Landeskog still haven't played a game. And Sakic, instead of doing something about that, just signed Georgiev. So, like,
you
they've
not
known.
a good. You mean that's not a good play?
They've known that Landeskog and Nichushkin weren't going to be in for a long time, but instead of doing something about it, they did nothing.
They just overvalue their players. They think that McKinnon and Rantanen are good enough to just.
Well, McKinnon's injured now, so
Yeah, and like now you got 1C Rantanen playing with Evan Rodriguez or some
and
crap.
JT
Yeah,
Compher.
it's a terrible looking team, and like
Yeah, I mean,
sure
look
there's
at their
injuries,
lines, and
but
it's
like you said, it's like
they've
they
known
know
about
about them.
them.
They're not surprise
Yeah, McKinnon
injuries.
came back last game.
oh, did he do anything?
No.
I think he actually did score. but-
Even then, when the guys come back, it's not an excuse for their bottom six. It's terrible.
Yeah, their bottom six sucks.
Who the
They
hell
got
is-
Mulligan?
Who the hell
when?
is Who the
Why?
hell is Kaut?
Yeah,
Martin
sauerkraut.
Kaut.
Yeah, the team's just bad.
They
It's
were
bad
bad
on
last
paper,
year.
It's bad on...
It's the same players too. I thought they were bad last year, and guess what? They're still bad.
But like I said, like they knew that Landeskog, Manson, and Nichushkin were going to
Shit,
be out.
Evan Rodriguez is day to day. Season's over, boys. Pack
they,
it up.
They knew that they weren't going to have Nichushkin, Landeskog, and Manson for a while,
Yeah.
and instead of fixing it, they just were like, "No, JT Compher's got this." No, he doesn't,
Wait,
dude.
who's playing
Yeah.
Georgiev if Francouz is injured?
Oh yeah, that kid that they got from Buffalo, who before they got him, he literally had a below 80% save percentage.
Oh, sick.
Is
Yeah.
he worse than George?
Yes.
Wow.
You know how you
George
called
and George
You know how
Jr..
you called Chuck a third string goalie? He's like a fourth.
Okay.
Like he's an AHL backup. He should not be playing. And Georgiev's also an AHL
Yeah,
backup.
I mean, but like directly comparing them to the Jets have like 640. I think that could be 40 goal scorers if they played a full season, and there's like maybe one on the Avalanche. Like it doesn't surprise me that they can't hang in the Central.
McKinnon could score 40 if he just changes his game up, but like, yeah, it's just him and Rantanen.
Yeah, Justin and
Landeskog
Rand.
will
Landis can never score 40.
Nichushkin won't ever.
But like
score
you look at
40.
the rest of the Central, like I think Dallas has probably 3 or 4 guys I think could score
St. Louis,
40.
too.
I think Jamie Benn can still put up 40 on a
Yeah,
good season.
it's him and Sagan, Pavelski, Robertson.
I don't know if Sagan
Who?
could,
You,
but
Rupe. I
Sagan's a
think
goal
Rupe could do
scorer.
40.
the other teams in the Central, St. Louis has had the weirdest season.
Yeah, they started off really, really bad, and they've.
Well, no, they started off an 8-game winning streak,
thought they
and then they
started
went on an 8-game losing streak,
What are they,
and then they went on a
Penguins?
6-game winning streak, and then now they're just kind of mid.
What are they? The Penguins of the West.
Basically.
14 of their 19 wins came in streaks.
That's funny.
And half of their losses came in one streak too. Like they're going streaking,
I mean-
and Jordan Binnington is a pussy.
Yeah, I think it basically comes down to Binghamton just being inconsistent, terrible. His off his
A
antics.
toddler.
Yeah, just get out of here with that. I hate that dude.
Toddler.
I mean, when your coach comes out and is like, "Hey, dude, what the hell? You got problems. Nashville, Matt Duchene sucks.
You're just salty. You picked them up.
Yeah, he scored 40 last year. Now he has 11.
It's kinda funny
Chris
that-
Letang.
It's kind of funny that they went from like 5 more games than most teams to now they have like 5 games under some teams.
NHL scheduling's hard.
Yeah.
Well, that was also because they had that water main break that flooded
Oh,
their
true.
arena.
But yeah, I mean like Juicy Saros went from like like one of the best goalies in the league to like
And even then, last night, the only reason they
yeah.
beat Carolina was because he saved 64 shots.
But
So
like
many
I don't know,
shots.
I expected more adding McDonough. I expected them to be
Yeah.
a little bit better because they really kind of have a good defense and all that.
Well, the rumor is.
yeah, now they're
Ekholm's
talking.
getting
Yeah,
traded.
now they're talk about trading Ekholm.
Again, this is like
Yeah.
the 8th time I've heard
Just
Ekholm
fucking
Yeah.
do it
traded.
already.
The biggest, I have no idea why, but apparently their power play is struggling. So their
Yeah, I
solution to
think
that
it's
was
just-
putting Tolvan in on waivers, and he got picked up by Seattle, and he
I
has
didn't know
3
that.
goals in 2 games.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's
yeah,
bad.
yeah. Though they put
Oh,
Tolvan
you
in on
didn't see
waivers,
that?
and he got cleaned by
I didn't
Seattle.
see that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
like the
bad.
next day. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he immediately started scoring
Yeah,
goals on
he's-
Seattle's top power play.
He
Speaking-
was good last year on.
Speaking of Seattle, we kind of bounced over them. Seattle's. I mean, I know everybody has their thoughts.
Yeah,
and
we were still in
feelings
the
about
Central,
expansion teams. I mean, the Central's pretty much exactly.
Yeah.
We're
Hey,
pretty
we
much
didn't
done
talk
with it.
about Arizona and Chicago.
Who gives a shit? They suck. That's what you want to know. They
We'll
suck.
talk about them when we get to the World Juniors, because that's where they don't care about the NHL.
The NHL season's over for them. They're done. It doesn't matter. So moving to the Pacific, Vegas is at the top of the standings. I think they're mainly being carried by their goaltending right now, but also Jack Eichel just came back, so we'll see what they do. I think they'll stay up there. LA in second place is probably not going to last very long, and then Seattle in third is a nice surprise. They also have they're 5 less games played than LA, so we'll see what that turns into.
Yeah, I'm surprised Edmonton's out. Like, if they're in a playoff spot, but
I
like I'm
think
surprised they're out.
I think it's
of
temporary.
the top. Like,
well, their goaltending is just so bad.
I think it's embarrassing that McDavid's gonna get like
records.
he has 70 points already or something.
75.
70. Yeah, that's
75 points,
insane.
40
We're at the
games into the
halfway
season.
point. That's some people don't even.
He's
finish the
almost
season.
2 points
That's
per
an
game.
he won the Art Ross already. Like he won the scoring trophy.
There's a
already.
high chance that he just sweeps trophies. Like,
I
he
mean-
could win MVP, he could win the Hart, he could win the Art Ross, he could win the Rocket, he could win...
Didn't Jamie Benn win it with 75 points?
Yeah.
Like he already did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
we have another season for him to
Yeah.
go basically.
yeah, I would not be surprised if he passes 150 points this season.
He's on pace for it.
That's what I'm
He's
saying.
basically having the best season.
Of the last 30
Yeah,
years, really?
at this point,
Since
essentially,
Lemieux, I
basically
think.
ever.
I mean, so look, I mean, like we can go talk about the Gretzky's and Lemieux, but at the end of the day, the game's changed over the past 20 years. This is probably one of the best seasons we'll ever see
It's
in hockey.
even if it's not the single best or whatever, it's more impressive than Gretzky
Agreed.
at this point.
It's just a different game.
And the fact that they can't beat LA for a playoff spot is embarrassing.
I want to talk a little bit more about that later, too. But, yeah, I mean, their defense is terrible. Their bottom six is actually not bad. They just don't score, though. Like, Puljujärvi has, like,
Well,
one or two.
I just think it's like
Holloway only has, like,
Puljujärvi,
one.
Yamamoto, they're just bad.
Yeah, like, they're just
Move on.
not great.
Just flip them. Like at this point, you got to get new guys in there. They're not scoring with McDavid.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I could see them, like, maybe trading with a team that has a few too many forwards, someone like the Capitals who have too many people already. I mean,
I don't
like,
think
I know
they
you like
don't-
to shit on them a lot, but, like, a guy like,
Do they
I don't
get
know,
Connor
like,
Sheary?
even Mantha or Sherry or any of those guys that are going to be looking
I mean, they're
on
probably
the
better
outs.
than Yamamoto at
That's
this
what I'm
point.
saying.
I-
Like,
I
why
don't-
would
not
they
saying
not?
much.
I think Edmonton needs to focus on their defense and goaltending situation. They don't need offense.
It's
with
definitely
McDavid.
goaltending. 'Cause
It's definitely
Campbell-
goaltending.
Campbell
was
just-
not good.
whiffed hard.
Yeah, and Stuart Skinner has been pretty.
He's blowing
He's
it.
okay.
He's just a pretty mid goalie. I don't think he's anything crazy. I think he's a backup goalie. That's what he is. And Jack Campbell is not a starter.
Calgary is in a playoff spot, barely.
Give it a game. They'll be
Yeah,
out.
I don't see that holding on.
Is Kopitar doing anything?
Let's just take a look. Yeah, Kopitar's doing good. Actually, well, the Kings are weird because they're like third in the league in goals for,
They're-
but they're also 32nd in goals against.
They're also at a -8 differential because their goaltending sucks. Jonathan Quick is.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
well,
think they have
Kopitar
the
only
most
has
goals
30
against.
points. Like that's. I'm just saying, like this is not good. I don't know who the hell's scoring goals for him.
Kevin and Kempe.
Velarde.
Velarde, he's got a lot. But let's take a look at this because this is fun. This is really fun. So that trade that Calgary they fleeced Florida. Jonathan Huberdeau has 25 points. For reference, Eric Gustafson has 23.
Dude,
Mojo
Eric-
has more goals than him.
Eric just wants
Mojo
to
does
keep.
have more goals than
Eric
him.
is trying to keep making the point that Huberdeau is the loser in this trade. I think we all agree, and I don't give a shit. It's over with. Nobody, just because people on the internet are still bitching about it doesn't mean we have to. We know it was it's a good trade for Florida, bad trade for Calgary. The end. Who gives a fuck?
Well, I mean, that's just not the point. Like, they committed to them.
Yeah, this isn't like,
Like,
you
can
just
say
redo
that.
it next year.
You
No,
can say that,
they're
but
this is
Huberdeau
their
and
team.
Weaver are signed for 8 years.
This is their team.
Calgary
now,
has
yeah.
decided that Jonathan Huberdeau is their superstar, and he has 25 points. That's less than most third liners.
It's less than Mojo.
Mojo has more than 25 points.
Yeah.
No fucking way. How many points does Mojo have?
I think he has 26.
Oh my god.
Which
think-
makes him Mojo's
No,
a third
I think
liner.
he's 11 and 11. I looked it up last night. That's why I know.
Mojo's a third liner. Jonathan Huberdeau is performing at a third line pace, and he's getting paid $8 million for the next forever to do that.
That was 8 years.
Yeah, that's forever.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
8
like,
years.
how is this team like? Let's say when Bedard comes into the team, like Bedard's gonna go Columbus next year or something. Like, how are they gonna compete
They
with this team?
can't.
Yeah, no.
Elias Lindholm, dude, they don't even have a single player at a point per game. Elias Lindholm's at 35 points in 38 games. He scored
Yeah.
40 goals last year.
It's like they're like the new Wild. Like they just
Yeah.
they sign bad players to forever
Bad little
contracts.
players
Yeah.
to forever contracts, and when they get traded away,
Like
they're
it-
fucked.
10 years from now, we'll
Well, they won't
we'll be
there
old as
anymore.
hell or
They
whatever.
have
And
3 guys
Nazem
over 10
Kadri and
goals.
Huberdeau will still be getting 20 goals or 20 points a season.
I say 20 goals. That's fucking generous. They can't
Yeah,
do that
Kadri
now.
will hit 20, but
Michael Backlund is their 5th leading a goal scorer, and he's shooting at a 6.7% shooting percentage. I mean, like, this team's bad. Everything about them is bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't give a shit.
They're
about
not
Calgary.
going to make it.
That's okay.
And that's going to be the next 8 years for them. Because it's not going to change. They've locked into all of these guys.
well, similar about Vancouver.
Yeah, Vancouver sucks too.
But like they shouldn't.
JT Miller has
Yeah.
a temper tantrum every game.
It's kind of funny.
Well, it's because his team is fucking dog shit.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed off too.
Yeah, but his is like he's taking zero
I don't know.
responsibility for it. And like, I mean, did you see the one where he skated behind the net and the goalie
Yeah,
was
this
coming off
Jets.
the
I
ice?
saw it. Yeah, he was
Jets.
yelling at him.
Yeah, you like smacked his stick on the back of the net, and it's like, hey, bud, you're not doing anything either. Like, you're not exactly helping. He's got less points than a rookie. I mean, come on, dude.
Wow, Hughes has 30 assists.
Yeah, Hughes is killing it because he's good.
Hey, when did Pedersen
But-
start doing stuff?
No, Pedersen's fine. He's been doing good.
He was-
And Bo's great. He's got 28 goals. That came out of nowhere. But, yeah, I mean, like,
That's probably Quinn.
Miller's not even a point per game, so who cares? Like, where does he think that he has? Not only is he not even a point per game, he's a minus 13 when everyone else is positive.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
like,
Brock
their
Besser's
forwards are
minus, yeah.
scoring, actually. Like, I'm looking at this, and their guys are, they're getting the back of the net. So, like, the issues gotta be defense and goaltending. What's his name?
Well, I've heard
Scored
Tyler
down.
Myers is still bad.
Scored, yeah, of
Oh,
course
no
he
shit,
is.
that never changed.
Go down to goalies. I don't remember his in that. I'm just
It's
blanking.
Demko and Colin.
Yeah,
Delia.
Demko's been complete trash. Look at that. 4 goals against. Yeah.
Oof, an 8.83.
Yeah, I mean,
And
that's...
Spencer Martin also with an 8.83.
I think Big Save Dave is better at this point.
Oh God.
Colin Delia has been starting recently. I think he's having a decent.
Yeah, he's got 3 starts in the last couple games.
I keep thinking of Chris D'Elia.
But yeah, I mean, like the Pacific Division's just a mess.
The
Every
specific
single
the
team's bad.
specific division is bad.
Every single team is bad. There's
So, yeah, even like the Knights, like I think Eichel's having a pretty good season, but it's still not impressive for like Eichel. Like Eichel should have like
Eichel's
50% more points
Eichel's-
than what he has.
Eichel's played half the games that he's.
Sure,
this
but
season.
like he should be like 1.5 points per game, not like.
What is he at? I mean,
Oh, who's their leading point scorer? Chandler
it's
Stevenson.
probably
I mean,
Eichel,
like,
and he
It's
hasn't played for
probably
fucking half the season.
Stoner Stevenson.
it's Chandler Stevenson.
Yeah.
Jack Eichel's at 32 points in 28
It's
games.
just not that good though. Like
Again, nobody's even a point per game. A point per
Oh,
game
Eichel
isn't
is.
even that insane anymore.
that's what I'm saying.
When you got
like,
McDavid putting
yeah,
up
that's
2,
what I'm saying. Eichel's like barely a point per game.
can't
He should
compare-
be way higher
You
than
can't
that.
compare the entire league to McDavid. That's not fucking fair.
Okay, but a point
But
per
they
game
need
is
to.
like,
He's literally like their division rival. You can exactly compare them. He needs to have what?
not 2, but he
40?
needs to be better.
He needs to be like 40 points right now.
Who?
Eichel.
Eichel's played 28 games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he should be at 40 points.
Yeah, Jason Robertson is.
I don't
Tage
know.
Thompson.
He's not gonna.
is.
He's not gonna compete with McDavid at that point.
Tage Thompson. Compare him to Tage Thompson, the guy that literally replaced him. Tage Thompson's killing it on a way worse team. Eichel needs to be better. Chandler Stevenson's their best player somehow. That's also not good.
I mean, it's not like we're talking like, oh, they're gonna play each other once a year. That's probably round 1, right?
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I'll take McDavid all day over that.
Well, no shit.
Well,
I would
that's
take
what we're
McDavid-
Look
saying.
at this
I'm not
top
impressed
line,
with
dude.
it.
Amadio Stevenson Stone.
I
What
would
is
take
that?
I would take McDavid over anybody. I'm not trying to defend Jack Eichel, but I'm just saying like it's hard to compare
Who's
them.
Paul Cotter?
It's hard. It's
Who's
hard,
Harry Potter?
It's hard, shut the fuck up. It's hard to compare everybody against McDavid when McDavid is putting up unreal
Okay,
numbers.
well, fine. Then compare him to Robertson. Compare him to Thompson. Compare him to Bo Horvat.
Okay, Jack Eichel was also playing on the second line, so
So is Bo Horvat, and he's got 28 goals. Eichel has 32 points.
But that's the thing. Like, I don't think they traded for him to be underneath Chandler Stevenson.
Yeah.
right?
I think that
Like,
also might just it was his first game back last night. I'm assuming that's not going to stick, but we'll see. I mean, again, I'm not like a fan of the Golden Knights. I'm not defending them, but I think it's just,
whatever they did though last night, or like I guess it's been a couple games now, but they like found the secret recipe to get Phil back. He looked so fast last night. It was kind of
hot dog water.
It was hot dog water. It was kind of incredible to see him like not suck.
He scored
first
with
time
seventh of the season last
Like
night.
he was fast as hell last night. It's like the first time I've seen him skate in like 5 years.
I know. I texted you. I was like, "Wow, the Golden Knights
Yeah.
scored." He's like, "I didn't even turn the game on yet."
So if we sort by league standings here, let's go down to the bottom. Let's just really quickly talk about how I think Chicago should be punished for something. Because I don't like this. I really don't.
They're on pace for the least amount of points in the cap era. That's just like embarrassing.
Not only is it embarrassing, it's borderline like collusion. They're not colluding with anybody, but like
I think it would be a bigger problem if there wasn't a lottery system in the NHL. Obviously, they have better odds, but that doesn't mean shit. I think if it was like the NFL, where it's based on standings, or the MLB, where it's based on the MLB's lottery as well. I apologize, but it's not. It's a lottery system.
yeah, but
so
then they just changed the lottery system to make it so that you're almost guaranteed if you're in the top or in the bottom 5. And the problem
okay,
is,
so
like,
I mean,
what I don't like about it is the fact that they just willingly let RFAs that put up points go and didn't even attempt to re-sign them.
He just gave away to bring
Yeah.
it. I just think it's disrespectful to their fans.
The Strome, just not signing Strome blows my mind. Not signing Kubalik blows my mind. Like, they were RFAs. They could have tendered any offer and just signed them to the qualifying offer, but they didn't. They willingly let them go because they wanted to tank.
Well, it's like you look at the other superstars from that era, and like, I mean, Patrick Kane and Taves invented hockey, and the disrespect to them to just like tell them that they're getting traded. Like, you look at all the other superstars, and they're all the Capitals, the Penguins. They're all like, yeah, we're gonna play until you guys can't skate anymore. We're gonna trade away everything. We're gonna do whatever it takes to get you guys into a playoff spot. And I mean, these guys invented hockey in 2011 and 12, and they're just like, yeah, we're gonna trade you to the like
Nashville
Toronto Maple
Predators.
Leafs.
yeah.
I just really don't like Chicago and Anaheim just being able to tell their RFAs that they weren't going to sign them just because they were trying to tank. I just don't like how that represents.
I mean,
the game.
sure, but that's just because Chicago's been good. But like, also Arizona's done that for 10 years now.
Yeah, true. But also, they never had any good players, so I guess that doesn't really change anything.
Don't you talk shit on
I
Shane
mean,
Doan.
that's kind of true, but also like Duclair had like 40
Shane Doan
goals
hasn't
last
played in
year.
15 years.
Duclair had like 40 goals last year. I think Dylan was part of Arizona at some point, and once again, they just like they purposely tank all the time.
Yeah, maybe. Also, I do think it's funny though.
But
Like,
when they do it, people call it strategy. Like I don't exactly
you go on the internet.
think it's fair.
You go on the internet, especially as a Caps or Penguins fan, and everyone's like, "We shouldn't sign the Stars. We should just let them go and rebuild." How many people that are fans of the Blackhawks do you think are having fun watching the Blackhawks this year?
You think they want to see
Is
Taves
anyone
and Kane
watching
get
them?
traded?
Yeah,
I wouldn't even watch a game if the Penguins played the Blackhawks. It'd be fucking terrible.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the only reason I watched the Capitals was because I knew Ovi was going to score that hat trick. But like, it's just. I hate seeing that where they're like, we should just be doing a hard rebuild. No one wants to watch that.
No.
They have 8 wins. That's embarrassing. That's horrible.
Yeah.
No one wants to watch that. But speaking of the draft, let's take a look at these insane stats. Connor Bedard finished the World Junior Tournament 7 games, 23 goddamn points. He had 9 more than the second place player, who did insane in Logan Cooley.
Yeah, I mean, he looks miles above the competition. Like, it's not even close.
He had like 6 points in 1 game. Like,
He's on rookie mode right now.
and God forbid, if Arizona gets him, they'll have Bedard, Cooley, and Gunther.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking like Stankoven and Gunther both had really good games, and they're like, yeah, I mean, great name, but like, they didn't even look like close as it's not even close. How good Bedard is.
I'm just gonna stay quiet during this segment. I didn't watch a single of
Well,
the
we
World
got
Junior games.
if we look at the top couple players here, Bedard's undrafted. Cooley is a Coyote. Snuggerud's drafted, but I don't remember who took him. Same with Waugh. Stankoven's a Stars pick, and Gunther's a Coyotes pick as well. So if somehow the Coyotes end up getting Bedard, they'll have Bedard, Cooley, and Gunther. That's dumb.
At least they're already playing at a college campus, so they'll be set.
A lot of kids had really good tournaments.
Somehow the Czech made it to the finals.
Yeah, the Czechs did something I didn't expect. I expected Finland or Sweden, and neither of them made it. Robbie, you want to talk about how the Jets kids just destroyed?
Yeah, I mean, Chaz Lucius had a hat trick to get bronze. That was pretty sweet.
Chaz Michaels.
That was a 9-8 game, right?
Yeah,
crazy.
9-8.
Shane Wright had
Stupid.
7 points in 7 games, but he just got reassigned to the AHL again today.
Rocker was a point per game in the tournament. Love to see it. And then Brad only had 1 goal, but it looked like Finland just didn't do good in general.
Yeah, Finland did.
It was
Finland
a great goal.
Finland was really fucking bad. I do know that.
Yeah, Finland didn't even make it out of the quarterfinals. They lost to Sweden. I think the Final Four was Sweden, Czech, Canada, USA. Yeah, Austria should never be allowed back.
No.
Um,
No. Well, that one game I watched, they had 12 goals against. I think it was 12 or 11.
Here, let's take a look at team stats. Austria finished this tournament with, I think, 6 goals for, and
Ugh.
all right, the stats are obviously screwed up because that says 6 goals against, or no,
That's games
destroyed.
played.
Oh, they don't show me goals against. Why would they show me goals for?
Well,
and
I think
goals
the
against?
I think the SSG it could also be determined for the goals against 107. It's basically
yeah,
the
I
same
mean
thing.
basically
They had a 5%
shooting percentage.
shooting percent. I thought it was.
I mean, they just got absolutely blown out.
There was multiple games where the
Reamed
opponents had more goals
stats.
than shots than they took shots.
Oh, they were dead last and everything.
They were not. They got 9th in the power play.
That they scored 1 whole power play goal.
Ooh, baby.
They got just absolutely destroyed.
Oh, wait, 44 goals against.
Yes.
In what, 4 games?
7.
7?
it's obviously just a replacement team because of Russia, but
Yeah, I mean, I understand why they didn't want to bring Russia in, but it did a disservice to this tournament because these kids got absolutely destroyed, and it wasn't even close.
Oh my God, these kids were born in 2004 and 2003.
I think that they had one guy that might get drafted or one guy that did get drafted, and the rest are all just playing in Germany. They should never be allowed back. It was bad. It was bad enough Germany was in there getting diced up for 11, let alone Austria. I mean, they started off the tournament. They scored 0 goals for and 20 against.
Who?
Canada put up 11,
Oh.
and America put up 9.
Austria. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
yeah, I mean those kids are gonna be good. You look at what Perfetti's done, where he had 10 points since couple 10 games last year at the
Yeah.
World Juniors, and now he's leading the league, leading the Jets in basically everything
Well, I've heard
except goals.
I've heard a lot of people talking about
It's
oh,
they're
you
gonna
don't
be
know.
good.
They're like, oh, you can't say
you
they're
can't,
gonna be
you know.
good.
I
You
saw
can't.
Perfetti at the World Juniors. He was great. He's great on the Jets. It transitions.
But if you look at the stats of who's led the tournament with that many points, it's Lindros, Yager.
Yeah, there maybe only misses
Oh,
Eberle. He's
Eberle?
still a pretty good
Dude,
player.
Eberle with 14 goals.
Eberle was really good in juniors, but then he lost his speed when he got to the NHL.
Yeah.
But this kid doesn't have that problem because he's fast as fuck. He's just going to make whatever team he goes to an instant contender, except for maybe Arizona because they always suck. But
So, kind of running into the towards the end of the podcast here. Two quick things. One, we wanted to bitch about the All-Star game. Something we've had a problem with the past couple of years is the fact that every team has to have representation at the All-Star game. Let me pull up on my phone real quick because they did share the All-Star rosters last night, and unfortunately,
All you have to do is point to Kevin Hayes here.
yeah,
why?
that's why is
Kevin
Hayes
an All-Star?
well, so there's a couple things. One, if you guys didn't notice, no East Conference defenseman got picked. None. There's no defensemen on the teams.
Yeah, I mean, like in Darlene or whatever. I mean, like, come on.
One of Darlene or Pasternak is going to miss the All-Star game.
Yep. Because it has to be 2 skaters and a goalie.
It's 2 skaters and a goalie, and Austin Matthews is in the fan vote. So let's be honest.
Oh my God, they
at least win that.
actually did not draft. They didn't. There's no defenseman.
defenseman on the East.
Or the Atlantic.
Yeah, in the entire East, there are no defensemen.
There's okay. So there are, as it stands, 4 defensemen going to the All-Star game, and 3 of them for the Central.
Yeah, and it's what Morrissey,
McCarr.
Jones.
Yeah. So I mean, like, look, I think if we want to have the All-Star game back to its original glory and where it was actually fun to watch, the fan vote needs to be primary, and then they can do whatever they want after that's said and done. John Scott being in the All-Star game was probably one of the more memorable memories of the All-Star game,
Okay,
right?
so the league's mad. The league was mad that the fans voted in John Scott because he's a talentless plug, but then they picked Brock Nelson and Kevin Hayes.
But like, here's the thing, like, so when John Scott, like, it was fun to watch. It was like, oh, what's he gonna do? Because like he had, I mean, obviously they were feeding him and giving him all the chances in the world because why not? They were making it memorable for him because you know what? He's never gonna do that ever. He never thought he was gonna be there, so they made it special for him. That's awesome. But like, that's okay. Why can't we have more of that kind of stuff?
Well, here's my thing, right? Nobody cares about the game. No one
We
cares.
should just,
Everyone
they should just skip
wants,
the game.
yeah,
I mean,
everyone wants
Give me
to
2
watch the
skills. Give me 2 of those.
Everyone wants to watch the skills competition, which brings me back to my point. What the hell is Kevin Hayes going to do?
Like, just update skills competition. Do like a Michigan off or something. Like, honestly, the game's evolving. Get on the train.
So like Vegas
Yeah.
was like in the right idea last year,
Put
where they
Zegras
they-
against Hughes in the Michigan off. Like, come on.
Last year was kind of interesting with the Vegas one because they did do some cool things with like Vegas theme. You know, they
Yeah,
did
that's-
they did
that
the
was
blackjack
good. And then the
thing.
game was boring.
Well, yeah, because the game's always boring. It's just a bunch of players who just are trying not their hardest, and they're just
But, like,
scoring because nobody's trying hard.
they have to. They think they have to take one player from every single team, so they do. And now, but then all the players have to do something in the skills competition. So let's look at the players that got picked and what skills they can do. What skill does Brock Nelson have? Kevin Hayes.
Passing.
What skill does Kevin Hayes have? Seth Jones.
Being benched.
What's he gonna do?
Being like one of the 3 black players in the league.
Clayton Keller has made 3 straight All-Star games because he's the only guy that the Coyotes have. What's he gonna do? He's not faster than McDavid or
Probably
even
shooting.
Larkin.
That's what he's gonna do, though.
Like, what's he? What are those guys? It's stupid. They don't
I
have
don't-
the skills to be there.
I
They
agree.
shouldn't be there.
I agree. I think it should be based on the season performance, not because oh no, we have to fill a team spot. Who knows? Maybe they'll change it if there's enough bitching about it, but I doubt it because at the end of the day, it's all about money. So.
Like Draisaitl's not going to be there. Like, I'd much rather watch Draisaitl shoot pucks into a small net 100 feet away than watch Kevin Hayes miss 17 times. Like, that's what's going to happen. David Pasternak, Mikko Rantanen, Nugent Hopkins.
Yeah, and you could
These
say
guys
that, like,
did. Kucherov made it, Point didn't. So you're looking at this and you're like,
Hellbuck's probably not going to make it.
yeah, how about you think anyone's going to vote for a Winnipeg Jet?
Yeah.
Come
I
on,
voted
dude.
for 3 Winnipeg Jets.
It's like,
Shifley,
it's so
Kyle
stupid.
O'Connor, and other Connor.
Because these guys just can't do anything.
The only All-Star appearance that I was like, okay, that makes sense, was fucking Matty Beniers. He's leading his team.
I mean, like,
he's leading
obviously,
rookie.
obviously the big names like McDavid and Ovi and Crosby.
But they're always gonna make it because they're the big names, right?
Erik Karlsson. Yeah, but like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Rasmus Dahlin didn't make it. Dougie Hamilton didn't make it. Quinn
Fox.
Hughes didn't make it.
Adam Fox. That's like literally like 5 of the top 10 or top 7
Yeah,
defensemen.
I mean, like, it's not right. It's
not-
really stupid.
It makes me not want to watch it, to be honest with you. I'll watch the competition because it's always fun to just watch it, but I'm not gonna watch the game. It's stupid.
But you're gonna watch this competition again, like I said, like, dude, the shootout competition where every single player takes a shootout shot. Brock Nelson's gonna be in that.
Dude, you really hate Brock Nelson.
Kevin
Holy
Hayes
fuck.
is gonna be in that.
You hate Brock Nelson with a passion.
And he just isn't an all-star. He doesn't belong there. He's not even in the same tier.
Troy Terry made the All-Star game.
Well, yeah. I mean, first off, I don't know why they hate Zegras so much.
Didn't
Because
he
he
go
made it
last
fun last year.
He had to get special like permission to go because they were like, oh, we should probably
Oh,
have the
yeah, that's
rookie
right,
that's
yeah.
insane go.
Yeah.
But he didn't get picked, and then they were like, let's do it again.
What the fuck's Troy Terry done this season?
He scored some goals.
12 goals. Wow. Woohoo. Wahoo.
Yeah, I mean, the All-Star game's stupid. They could fix it, but they don't. And
Hey, at least it's not the NFL where they made that shit flag football. It is a flag football game
I mean,
this
it
year.
might as well be. They don't hit anybody.
But that's
There's no
that is
contact.
so ridiculous. I'm not gonna get into the NFL.
You think somebody's gonna block an OV shot in the
Fuck
All-Star game?
no.
Like, they don't care.
Dude,
They'll just let
if
them
I
score.
if I was in the NHL as it was, I wouldn't be blocking every shot if my life depended on it. If they said block this shot or die,
Blake
I would
Wheeler
die.
would.
Oh, yeah, with his nuts.
Apparently, it's the second time he did that.
Jesus.
He hates his balls.
Yeah.
All right.
Dude has no kids. So final thing I want to wrap up on, unless you guys have something.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about one other thing because it's just an interesting thing to talk about. We're witnessing so many historic things between McDavid and Ovi that I just want to know what you guys honestly think, because I made a comment on Reddit and I kind of got downvoted a lot for it.
Imagine that.
Where I said that honestly, McDavid, Crosby, and Ovi are so much better than Gordie Howe and the guys of that caliber. It's ridiculous. And everyone was like, oh, Mr. Hockey.
Yeah, I mean, I've said before, like, I don't think, like, Mike Madonna is shit. I'd literally take Kevin Hayes over Mike
Well,
Madonna
that's-
at this
I
point.
mean, this
ridiculous, but-
kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier with Connor McDavid having probably the best season in the NHL history. It's a different kind of game.
Yeah,
So
I mean, you just
I
watch-
think you put Gordie Howe, you put these guys that played in the 80s and the 90s even earlier. 'Cause I'm not a Gordie Howe fan. I don't know when the fuck he played, but it was definitely before my time. They're not going to perform like they did. I'm sorry. It's a different game. It's way more physical. They play without helmets and they played with
Well,
fucking wooden sticks.
they
I don't
didn't
care.
get-
They get
didn't
skated circles
penalized.
around them.
They didn't get penalized back then. So that's their argument, is that, oh, Gordie had to fight through 6 people climbing on him like monkeys. And, like, they got a point, but, like...
They would never get the puck off McCarr.
Yeah, no.
Ever.
No.
Could you
Never.
McDavid would have 300 points
Yeah.
a season.
A game.
Okay, let's be a little bit realistic here. I mean, I while I understand there is some nostalgia to honoring the guys that kind of basically created the league and had those amazing seasons, whatever. But we're past that now. Those guys would not be shit today. I'm sorry, it is what it is.
My cutoff is the 90s. Like, 90s hockey
I'd
was
say
starting
Cap era.
to form into this. Like, I'm not gonna say
Like when Gretzky,
I
like
don't even know.
like-
'Cause, like, you look at, like, the early 2000s, and you literally have, like, Nick Cousins. Like, there's lots of Nick Cousins, And those guys don't compete today.
No, you're right. I just like Gretzky, right? I mean, like the thing that really spawned this in my mind was that I was looking at it, and Connor McDavid in his career is on pace to be the only other player to hit 2,000 points, which is just insane. Because if you look at the Gretzky records, because Gretzky owns all of them, nobody thought that he would lose the goals, assists, or points, and he still isn't going to lose the assists and points. But the other one that people always liked was like, oh, Gretzky has more assists than anybody else has points. Connor McDavid is on pace to have 2,000 points, which is unbelievable that he's doing that in this era of the game.
Yeah.
And, like, does he not just hop over, like, your Gordies and
I think he
Bobby
already
Orr
has.
and possibly even Lemieux? Like,
I just think we're at a point where the kids have finally, they grew up watching Lemieux and not, one of the old ass Canadians.
Yeah,
Give me
Guy.
one. Yeah, like the difference between Guy and Mario Lemieux is so absurd.
Yeah.
That, like, you got Jack Hughes and Hischier coming in, and these guys have done nothing but practice Mario Lemieux tricks for 20 years.
Yeah.
I would take Hischier over all of the old 80s guys.
yeah.
And that's like, he's
for
like
sure.
fine. He's just like an okay player.
The '80s guys for sure, but I mean, I think the argument gets a little bit more nuanced and confusing when you go, all right, what about Yager and Lemieux?
Well, those guys, like the very, very top, and I'm talking like 3 or 4 players. It's like,
Well, that's who I'm saying.
yeah, it's like Gretzky, Yager, Lemieux, and like Lidstrom, and like that's the cutoff.
Yeah, that's what I
Mike
tried
Madonna
to say.
can suck it.
Yeah, I kind of shit on Mike Madonna a lot, but that's just because he's like him and like Joe Sakic are like
they're-
the two that I think of from that era, and like
And Stevie.
Hischier would shit all over them. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
it's like it's just interesting to look at, right? Because like I remember somebody said the thread title was like, "What's your controversial top 5 pick?" And I didn't even have McDavid in it yet. I still had Lemieux in there, but I was like, there's no way you can convince me that Ovi and Crosby aren't top 5 all time.
It's just it's a very similar argument to like what we were talking about earlier with like, are the World Junior kids going to be good? It's like, yes. They had to beat out Nick Cousins for a roster spot. That's not very difficult.
So as you mentioned, like
Cole Perfetti, Mason McTavish, they're good players. They have all of the skills. They can skate, they can shoot, they do it all. You know what Nick Cousins can't do? Any of them.
You guys really hate Nick Cousins, but no, as you mentioned, you know, like
he's just like the last one of them.
The kids that are playing now, they were idolizing Lemieux and Gretzky. Now the kids that are coming after them are idolizing
McDavid, yeah,
Crosby, Ovi.
The kids in 10 years are gonna make Mike Madonna look like Anthony Peluso.
Who the fuck is Newsy Lalonde?
Newsy Lalonde, dude, 1940s. No, but if you
dude, Shep Mayer played 2 games and he's in the top 4.
Yeah, let's go.
Points
Shep
per
Mayer.
game. What in the fuck?
I mean, if you sort by points per game, I just wanted to do this because I wanted to see.
He had to crack 2 games and never played again.
Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid has played 150 less games than Bobby Orr, and he has way more points per game more points.
Bobby Orr only played
That's
657 games.
It gets a little gray there when you compare defenseman to Connor McDavid,
but like, I mean, he's blowing away from everybody. If he keeps up on this pace, he'll pass Lemieux in like 6 years. And he's the same age as us. He's 25. He'll be entering his prime, passing Lemieux.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even close to compare the two. Like, I don't think so. I personally think, like, I know McDavid's a better player.
That's what I'm saying.
But
like,
it's harder to say because, like, Lemieux invented this kind of, like...
Yeah,
Lemieux
he did. Him and Yager really did. That's why I said the cutoff
that's why
for me is the 90s.
McDavid has an edge there, so it's a little hard to compare. But I would still say McDavid's, like, a more skilled player comparatively. Like, if you adjust or whatever.
I mean, McDavid's not even at 600 games yet, and he's on his way to 1,000 points.
He's just incredible. There's really no other way to say it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, he's just unbelievable.
Holy shit, dude. Bobby Orr is a plus 582 in his career. Was he playing against Bakers?
I mean, have you seen the people that played in that age?
Yeah.
They don't have helmets.
I've never watched a game with Bobby Orr.
Well, Bobby Orr could skate.
Yeah.
Bobby Orr knew how to skate, and back in 1974, nobody else did.
You watch, like,
so he got.
Yeah, you watch like 5 Bobby Orr highlights, and they're all just like Bobby Orr taking slap shots from the point, and everyone gets the fuck out of the way because they're like
they're just wearing sweaters
Yeah.
and jeans.
They're just wearing like jeans, and they're like, "Yep, I'm not blocking that. Sorry, Bobby."
What are you doing, sir?
Well, the point was is like Bobby Orr looked like McDavid does to all the people that McDavid just blows by. Like McDavid gets the puck and he's like, "Oh, Brandon Montour, bye." Bobby Orr was doing that to people in his day. So
some
like,
dude named Fred probably.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
But like realistically, like Seth Jones is probably a better defenseman nowadays.
Oh.
Like that's what I'm saying. He has more skill than Bobby Orr ever did.
it's hard to say. It's a different kind of hockey, but like I understand your point, and I don't disagree with you because it is the game has changed over the past 40, 50 years now. I don't disagree. So I mean, no, that's a fair argument. It's a fun argument to have, but
well, it's like I remember I was watching TNT the other day, who sucks by the way, and they had Gretzky on, and they were like, "Oh, who's on your hockey Mount Rushmore?" And of course he is because he owns every single record in the world.
Good lord, who's Dave Williams?
Yeah, Dave Tiger
Dude,
Williams.
that's not Catfish Hunter. Never mind.
I know he's a fucking legend.
Dale
Probert,
Hunter.
yeah.
Dale Hunter's number is retired in the Capitals.
Dude, Marty McSorley. Let's go.
But like Wayne Gretzky said that his Mount Rushmore was him, Lemieux, Orr, and Gordie Howe. And I just don't.
Yeah, it's hard to put Gordie Howe.
Well, so here's the thing, though. You're asking a guy who idolized those players and grew up trying to mimic them. That's like, I'm sure McDavid would obviously have like. If you ask McDavid who his top 4 would be, he would most likely say Gretzky, Lemieux, Yager, and Sidney Crosby.
Yeah,
I would put money on that.
I think you can. It's really comparable to like video games, right? Like, cause like Gretzky's like Tetris, you know?
Yeah.
It's a great fucking game.
Yeah,
But
he's gonna be like my
yeah.
top 4: Pong,
Yeah,
fucking
yeah, like
Duck Hunt.
exactly.
I don't know,
Like,
but, like
those are great games. Don't get me wrong, but compare that shit to like
fucking Halo.
yeah, compared to something that came out last year,
Yeah.
it's not even close. I take those games all day.
Yeah,
Well-
I mean, it's a really hard argument to have because it is evolving. The game's always going to evolve. So, like, in
Nobody's
15
fucking playing
in
Pong
15,
anymore.
20 years, Lemieux, Gretzky might not be on the fucking. They might not be on the Mount
Gretzky will
Rushmore.
just because he owns every single record. But
you get my point. You get what I'm saying. Like people are gonna pass those guys eventually.
Well, he owns every single record except for one soon.
I hope Ovi fucking gets shot in the face.
But like that's another
mean
one.
that.
Is like no one ever mentions Ovi in those top 5, but like I just don't get how they're
He's
like,
a one-dimensional player.
He doesn't commit to the defense part, so
But
he
does.
can't be a good.
No,
he
he
can't be
doesn't.
that
He just-
elite of a
He
player.
just throws his
without-
body around like a fucking asshole. It's not playing defense.
But he does though. He's been good to, if not great. I mean, like watch the cup highlights again, bud. I do it all the time.
That's what Eric watches when he beats it.
He like
Rock the red, rock the red.
again.
I'm gonna
This is-
red.
That was weird. Like
I don't know.
I guess my biggest problem is Gordy. I just don't understand how you can put Gordy in.
Yeah,
this
Caps are
argument.
losing to Nashville.
Because like
They're losing.
Caps suck.
Gordy's just not even close to Ovi or Crosby or
No, and I think we've all kind of were in the same.
I would have said
segment there.
5 years ago. I think Crosby was better than both of them, and nowadays I'm like, I can't even make the like. I conceded the argument that Crosby's better than McDavid because I can't.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, you
impossible.
can't.
Yeah, so just by like, McDavid's better. That's all I could say.
Yeah, and if McDavid's better, then he's over top of both him and Ovi.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, it's
McDavid hops over Ovi and Crosby, and I think Ovi and Crosby hopped over Orr and Howe.
Yeah.
So if we're doing that, our top 5 is now like Gretzky, Lemieux, McDavid, Ovi, Crosby.
I'm
And
willing to
that's like
I'm willing to defend that he's better than Lemieux. I don't know if I can. I can't really argue that he's better than Gretzky.
You can't argue Gretzky, but I think that all 3 of them are better than Lemieux. They all have
Yeah,
more
probably.
points. I mean, Ovi passed him in goals 3 years ago.
It's such a like gray area. It's such a what if thing though, because like you can say like, okay, well Crosby didn't play like 100 games, and then like Lemieux didn't play like probably whatever, you know. Lemieux probably could have paid 500 more. So like, it's really
Yeah.
hard. You're doing a lot of like projections and compare. It's all bullshit anyway. But
I don't know. It's just interesting to talk about because I got like told that I was out of my mind for saying Gordie Howe wasn't a top 5 all time, and
No,
I'm just like, he's just not.
yeah, it's very clear. Like Kucherov is better than Gordie Howe.
Yeah.
And Kucherov's not even. We're not even. I didn't even mention
Nathan
him.
McKinnon.
Yeah, they're better. They're easily better than Gordie Howe ever was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yes, Gordy had to deal with people two-hand slashing him the entire way down
does
the ice,
Kucherov.
but
You don't think someone tried to take out Kucherov at some point?
yeah,
You don't play.
They got
what,
away
like,
with it
What
back
has he had?
then.
Like 100 playoff games? You don't get to 100 playoff games without a little damage.
well, he got so damaged that they did some
Yeah,
cap
yeah,
stuff,
okay.
so that's
I think
fun.
we're ready to wrap it up.
But yeah, I mean, it's just fun to talk about, so that's all I wanted to do.
Yeah, one last thing before we close things out here. Just wanted to get your guys' second half of the season predictions. If just one thing you guys think's gonna maybe happen, or any surprises you guys think coming down the pipe. Hot takes.
I'll take some hot takes on the trade deadline. I think that's an easy thing to say. Because like if I just talk about projections, it'll be like, oh yeah, the Penguins are gonna make it. That's
Sure.
boring. Jets are gonna come in first. That's boring. Trade deadline things. Okay. Patrick Kane goes to.
The Leafs.
No, shut the fuck up.
Taves probably goes to Colorado.
Ew. I
And,
guess I hate it, though.
I see Patrick Kane going to one of the New York teams. Because they got assets, dude. It's like Loff or something like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Lafreniere.
They've been talking about
Or
trading
Kakko or
Kakko
whatever,
and
yeah,
Lafreniere
so-
since they got them. So,
Patrick on the Rangers sounds
I
scary.
think- I think the amount of talent available this trade deadline is probably the highest I've ever seen.
oh, for sure.
Like the guy like 10th on the trade board is, it's like Tarasenko. Like that's stupid. So I think these top teams are just gonna load the hell up.
Yeah, I mean,
and
look at-
it's gonna be like
Tays, Kane, Tarasenko,
yeah,
O'Reilly.
like, so one of the teams is just gonna add like a playoff MVP. Like
Yep.
there's gonna be more than one team that does that.
PLDs. What do you think? PLDs gonna get
Horvat.
moved?
No, I think PLD is gonna up resigning. I think, but I would not gonna put money on
What's he
that,
gonna do?
yeah.
Resign and then ask for a trade the next day?
No, I think I'll end up resigning, but I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I
That's
think
still,
this
like, a
might be the
while
most
down
this
the
might be the
road.
most fun trade deadline we've had in a while. But then again, it could also be super fucking boring and everybody just stays put.
That really depends on. I think that the excitement of the trade deadline all comes down to if St. Louis is in a good spot. Because if
Yeah.
they're not, then
Well, like
I think depends.
it's
If they
just
try
gonna
to
be
get rid of
wild.
Dumoulin.
I want Dumoulin traded at the deadline.
Do you think they try to get rid of Zucker too?
Zucker's been playing well though.
I don't disagree, but do you think
It's
you
like a
get-
cap
do
thing.
you
It's
think you try
probably
to get?
capping
Do you
in.
think you try to get rid of him while he's playing well to get something better than?
No,
I mean,
you're not
his
gonna,
return is not gonna be
You're
a
not gonna
lot.
get anything. No, if anything, you're moving Kapanen to get another winger or something. That's or a defenseman. That's what you'd be. That's where the like the actual cap space would come
Sure.
from. But
All right. Well, Robbie says
that's mine.
2 Blackhawks moving. Eric, what you got?
I don't know.
Where's Meyer going?
Timo?
Where are the Sharks going? Where's him and Carlson going?
Well, I was gonna say Carlson, but Abel's gonna get mad at me.
Carlson of the Capitals. They're gonna trade.
Eric
Fox.
Carlson.
Nowadays, I think that makes sense because of the other Carlson
Yeah.
being injured.
They're gonna
They need
they're
a
gonna,
defenseman.
They're gonna
That's-
trade Mantha and
but-
Connor Sherry and get Eric Carlson.
Well, it would be a little bit more than that, but it would probably
no, that's
be,
all they're gonna trade for him.
Cheery for Eric Carlson.
It's probably
Yeah,
gonna
that's
be.
Eric's head. That's
It's
for
probably
sure
gonna be
Eric's head.
Mantha gets dumped to fucking Arizona or some shit, and then
Oh,
a
but you
first
love-
and
I'm not
McMichael.
gonna get into it.
I mean, he's fine,
we've
but
been
he
doing this
makes
for
the
over
money.
an hour. We
could,
need
could get rid of Eller too. Either one, 98 Lars.
Lars.
I do see Eric Carlson 50% retained to the Capitals. I do. I mean, it makes sense.
So you think that can happen with the cap zero prospects, but the Penguins can't get Patrick Kane?
Oh, we got a prospect. His name is Connor McMichael. You should see. Our Caps loves him.
Oh,
He's
about
really
as good, as
good.
Pauline and Legray.
Yeah, he's really
Pauline's
good.
like he just
He's
fucked
really
off, I
good.
think. He just was like, I'm done for a little bit.
He's-
No, he could be in the NHL right now, dude. He's really good.
Yeah, okay.
All right, let's not get into Eric's Reddit awful takes right now. So
But you asked for it.
I asked for one. You gave me way too many.
Okay.
Okay,
gave you
I
one.
said Timo. What about Timo?
I don't know. That one's interesting because he's an RFA.
Pick one, damn it. If he goes
Carolina.
Oh fuck, that's mean. No, he can't go there. They need goal scoring. That's no.
Isn't he from the Czech Republic? Yeah, he's gonna go. He's gonna go to. He's gonna go to New Jersey.
Boston.
Ew,
Boston or
that'd be
Carolina.
good.
Boston or Carolina.
Why are you making them go get like bad?
Teeing it up for Boston or
Everyone
Carolina.
keeps saying like I've seen Boston. They're like Boston's gonna get Patrick Kane. I'm like how?
Fucking,
How can
where
they
are they gonna
afford
put
that?
him?
Yeah, how can they afford that?
Well, because David
Also,
Krejci
yeah,
doesn't
what are they
make any
gonna
money.
do? Put third line Patrick Kane? He's gonna play with Taylor Hall.
Yeah, Taylor Hall, David Krejci, Patrick Kane.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Patrick Kane would fucking kill himself. But no, awesome. So yeah, that'll wrap up the mid-season, whatever the hell you want to call this, mid-season recap. I think probably next one we'll do is probably gonna be trade deadline, which is probably in a couple of weeks. I think March.
Yeah, we always have a lot to say about the trade. deadline.
Yeah. So we'll probably do 2. Probably one leading up to it and then one after. So look forward to those. And then yeah, it was fun. But yeah, we're signing off. Thanks.